Well, here we are out in the middle of the Wicks Estate vineyards. As you can see, the leaves are starting to fall. The autumn colours represents the end of the 2014 vintage. Leigh, how did you see the progression of the 2014 vintage?
I think the 2014 vintage, we had a very cool spring period, which ended up with low set. We ended up with a lot of hen and chicken, particularly in the early varieties, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. But following on from this uneven setting period, we then had a summer come on that was punctuated by some very hot summer days. And fortunately up here in the hills we still had some cool nights, but these hot days, cool nights, led to what looked like going to be quite a compact vintage. But you know, the vineyard was in really good condition and the fruit looked perfect.
Yes, well, we got to that stage and then we had this massive rain event, and which saw the heavens open up and dump 125 mils on the vineyards, which at the time was concerning, but hidden behind that, once we went through it, it ended up to be a real godsend, didn't it?
Absolutely. The whites benefited no end. Our Sauvignon Blanc and Riesling, they all looked like they were ripening in a really short period of time. We had this rain event which really sort of freshened up the vines, freshened up the fruit, and we then had a more balanced ripening period, so that we added probably another couple of weeks of the fruit being on the vines, so the flavour ripeness was really improved by that rain event.
Yes, and that took a lot of the stress out of the vintage as far as everything being ripe at once. So we were able to deal with the variety by variety and get everything right. So after all of that, we're sort of at the early stages of seeing what these wines are going to look like. Obviously through ferment, just racking off of bentonite. How's the juices looking to you?
Fantastic. Really impressed with the whites. Lovely aromatic lift on the Riesling Sauvignon Blanc. The Chardonnay's going through malolactic fermentation in barrel. We've just put the reds into barrel, they're going through malo, so everything's tucked away nice and safe. There's some really promising parcels. I'm very excited about the wines that we'll have coming ahead and released for under our 2014 wines.
Fantastic. Well, keep in touch, keep an eye out for our next report, which will highlight some of the new 2014 wines.